Who's talking first? I guess I am.
Go ahead.
Hello, we're live. It's Hang Out in the Crib. We are the Battle Pirates Crib. You've got your usual gang here tonight. I'm the BP Professor, and we've got Hefe
Howdy.
and Disturbed One
Hello.
and Tito.
Hello, everybody.
And today we're going to talk about the raid. Was it Rise?
There is a raid?
There is a raid. There's always a raid. We're starting a new cycle, and Rise of the Warlords. So, unless we got anything else, I'll hop right into it. I guess that means we don't have anything else. I got a real talkative crew.
Well, last show we ran like an hour and 52 minutes, so we gotta.
Yeah. I couldn't even last through the whole thing. All right, we'll talk about bug fixes. So they corrected the fact that the sealed fire charge, although it reduced your cloak time, it didn't actually update the stat on your display. So that's
Yeah. And it's not that it's nerfed now, it's that before it was not displayed correctly because the drones keep not seeing me when I go there, so it's the same like always.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's not a nerf, it was just a display. So let's see what else we got. Event pop-up. This one's kind of interesting because I know people were complaining about this last raid or two.
I suffered it as well in the raid that was Vendetta and Apollo. I went for the Apollo and I ended up with the Vendetta, and then I got to switch. Well, Kixeye got to switch it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So if they fix it better, because it takes a few days in the custom service to fix it for you, and each time you are wasting for building them.
Yep. All right, expanded the locator windows to accommodate more buttons so they don't go past. I don't know. I've never seen this.
It's about, you can only see that one. I think it's if you have a low resolution monitor, that when you click, that when you click on the locator in the raid event, they show you S targets, A targets, B targets, and C targets. If you click and your resolution is too low, that menu goes so down before you that you don't see anything. So I guess it has to do with that.
Oh, the selector buttons to find. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, likely you do now for River Armadas and stuff like that.
Yep. All right. Good. And then this one's a big one. Reduce the thermonuclear launcher repair time from over an hour to 10 minutes. And
especially if you put those heavy, 2 hours less of repair time, it's amazing.
Yeah. And those are really built for the retribution, and all these Conqueror hulls have had really low repair times, and this one was kind of silly because you put the weapons designed for the hull on there, and then your repair time jumps up from 1 hour to 3. So this is a really good fix here. And then this last one, there's been a bug that's been ongoing for a while, where ships are getting just like a fraction of a point repair, and then or a fraction of a point of damage, and then you can't really repair it. Although I've heard that the workaround for that is to put the ship in with other damaged ships and then repair the whole fleet. I've had that work for me once.
That way doesn't work much well at times, because the problem is that you fix, but the moment you refresh for whatever reason, you go back to your fleets and it's still damaged.
Yeah.
So the way to do it better was if you could get that fleet out into the water and let it get some damage somewhere and then fix it. But because of the rule on the subs, you couldn't do that on subs. So I guess that they couldn't find yet the solution. So that was the way to mitigate custom service getting flood of people complaining that they cannot do the raid because their subs are stuck in the shipyard. But it's a temporal fix, I hope, because the other problem is that since they are not whole repair, you cannot refit them. So if you are building them in stages, for example, because you went and put some weapons to go to a BXP weekend and get them, the problem is that you cannot finish that build.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, that's an excellent point. So, yeah, this one doesn't get them off the hook. It just kicks the can down the road a little bit. Okay. All right. That's enough for bugs. Updated statistics. We another, we'll say, long-time complaint was that players couldn't. Well, I'm sorry. No, it was that these flagships weren't keeping up with the retrofitted, we'll say, regular versions. So the Frostburn and the Savage Kodiak, the Zoe and the Dante have had their stats updated so that their stats are, where they were worse.
Comparable to the retrofitted ones, yeah.
Yeah, where they were worse than the retrofitted ones, they're now comparable.
Yeah, Laredo in other shows said that from now on, since that they are going to do it, so the flagship or the limited edition ship will go with the normal one. So when you retrofit one, you will retrofit all them likely, or you will get as you go onto the foundry or onto the retrofit and go stages on one, it will reflect on the other one as well.
Yeah, I think the worst one was the, as far as of this grouping, was the Dante Novastorm, because it was when they put it in the foundry, they gave them an additional 4 or 5 combat speed, but the Dante lagged behind for, how long has it been? 4 months?
Oh, I think longer than that.
Mostly of them got the speed bonus. I think about the Savage Kodiak that was more or less balanced. The other ones were keeping behind. But I feel that there are some missings, like the Grimshan. I don't know if the Grimshan is going to get ever the speed bonus or anything like the other ones.
Oh, Grimshan Berserker.
I know that it was in the retrofit lab, but it was keeping behind now.
Yep.
Although I'm not sure if many people still use those.
Right. And then you've got the other one. You got the Gore Sabers, and they decided to up the Gore Saber and the Borbus Gore Saber to 20 speed. So that's why that one's on here. And then for your Phantoms, the repair modifier was removed from the Phantom Tiger Shark and the Phantom Nightcrawler. Or not the Phantom Nightcrawler.
Nighthawk.
Nighthawk. Thank you. Nightcrawler. Bad. Actually, it was supposed to be a good movie. I never saw it. But the Ghostcrawler, which you were just teased, still has its repair modifier. And I think I saw one of the devs say at one point that they still feel the Ghostcrawler is very powerful and will continue to have that 400% repair modifier.
Yeah, I also saw a dev say that he really wished it would just go away. That was a robot.
Well, now that I had one and I got to play with it a little bit before I put it back in refit at the moment, a lot of people have said that the Ghostcrawler is obsolete, blah, blah, blah. Well, I was black hatting last week. I had a Ghostcrawler with just 6 Sharon Torps, Hydro Resistors, and Cat Drive. That's it. 6 weapons, 2 specials, and I was still clearing guards out of bases. And these guys weren't totally incompetent. They were maybe just average incompetent, like any group that just sits in a sector and complains. But anyway, yeah, I was clearing a lot of guards out of bases with a very, very stripped down Ghostcrawler. So I strongly believe they were still relevant, even though many players do have sub-defense, many players do not. So there.
Well, there's no excuse, I think, at this point, with all unless you're lower level, not to have any sort of defense against Ghostcrawlers.
I mean, some of these guys were high 80s. One guy had a Vanquisher sitting right in the middle of the channel. So I just stopped out of thermal range and took it out. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they were more incompetent than the average, but the point is, it's still worth building, in my opinion.
Especially with the shortened build time.
Yeah, easier to load up weapons and armor. It's an excellent point. Okay. Nope, wrong screen. Okay. Hefe talked about, well, let's just say Doom Rooster posted tips and tricks, and I think, for the last few raids, they've posted tips and tricks, and I would call them what they previously posted, neither tips nor tricks. In this case, I think they are at least tips, but Hefe, you want to start talking about this?
Sure. The first point is Doom Rooster told us we definitely needed to use subs, which, from everything I've seen and what I've heard as far as a recent modification to what's going to happen in the raid relative to we've seen already as far as the Killer Hunter Mortar having a limited, it's going to have a different behavior which may impact this, but all the modern halls, I'm talking about the last I could be wrong, but the last surface fleet that had both concussive defense and concussive damage buffs was like the BC or the BCX. I mean, there was a concussive damage on the Revenge, which you can't use in this instance, but there's not really a hull that's available for us that's efficient with a surface fleet that's efficient with both concussive damage and defense.
Well, you've got the V2H, but that doesn't have any deflection. That was,
yeah.
Right when these targets came out, I was thinking that might be an option, but from everything I've seen and the tweaks they've made since then, it's really not. So.
And the next point he made is explosive resistance. I mean, my experience with hitting some of these quote-unquote preview targets is that explosive resistance is huge. I mean, everybody knows that, but it's, considering most of the damage that's quote-unquote unavoidable is explosive with a mix of plasma damage, you need to, I mean, personally, the way I've outfitted my Hellrace is I've put 3 D5X, 1 D2S, and to mix both the highest possible, well, almost the highest possible, but pretty much the highest possible explosive resistance with something to take care of at least curtailing the plasma damage, since there's no way to avoid that. And it's, I mean, I'm just afraid that the thing that's going to happen with this is that they're going to keep on tuning the plasma damage however they choose in order to get their desired analytics. But I completely agree with this point that explosive resistance is by far your biggest friend in this upcoming raid.
Yeah, I think the other thing worth mentioning is the retrofit, and a blade of armor actually is even more important than X armor, right? Because that's like a 66% resist right off the bat. And then if you're retrofitting, you get a lot more payoff from retrofitting your blade of armor than your X armor, because it's like a percentage of the percent resist. You know what I mean? So
yeah, we covered that in some of the other shows, but that's
so
I would definitely retro the special prior to the armor. I just mentioned the D5X in particular because of the assault deflection.
Yep, that's a good point too.
And also the lower repair efficiency relative to the S series armors that they released that also provide explosive protection or resistance, but instead of having a repair efficiency of 0.6, they have a repair efficiency of 0.8. So you're paying more for that. You're paying more for that resistance, but you're not getting the assault deflection. So I don't consider the anything above D2S to be of value in pretty much in any way. I would just use them if I didn't have D2S to mix with the D5X because I consider the D5X to be a much larger value both in repair time and defenses.
Okay.
The next point he made is wait until the subsonic caviter mortars are done firing their initial volley. Since the rings from these mortars do not expire, use them as a way to determine your best path of attack is very beneficial. This is good advice for lower level targets that don't have the killer hunter mortars. But if you're just sitting around waiting, you're going to incur more damage from these. You know, I call them the converging coin collectors. Last show, they have a
We don't
reload.
know at this point because
What?
they changed the range. But we don't know now at this point because they said that they changed the range. So now till we don't
They
face
didn't
them,
change the range. They changed the retargeting range. I don't know if they've changed the reload. We're just going based on what we've seen before. I mean, all we know is that they've changed the retargeting range. We talked about that a little bit earlier. But I would suggest, unless we see something different, be a little bit more aggressive than what you would normally be. Because if you can get in there and kill off the Hulk and the mothership, you don't have these things floating around. And with and as an example in Prize Pack 5, the mothership fired off 3 Killer Hunter mortars, and the Hulks fired off 1 of each. But there was 3 Hulks and there was 1 mothership. So if you can go in and kill them, they do a significant amount of damage. But if you can get in close and try and do some damage right away to prevent them from firing again, to kill them off within the first, but basically they have a 5-second delay for first firing and then a reload of 40. So if you can kill off a couple of those in the first 45 seconds, you've saved yourself some damage. I mean, if one of these subsonic caviter mortars hits you, I mean, yeah, you can back out and whatnot. You should be able to outrun them as long as you have Hell Race. I haven't really gone through these with the Tiger Sharks to see how to hit these targets effectively. So pretty much anything in this tips and tricks is mainly talking about the Hell Race, not talking about any of the other sub-hulls.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and I think with the lowered retargeting range, maybe some new strategies will emerge, right? If you can stay away from the hunter killers when they're in the air, and then somehow get them to, I don't know, trigger and not kill you, and then rush in and kill it before they fire again. I don't know. Maybe there's going to be some new techniques to deal with them when they don't have range to go all the way across the map. But I totally agree that the Hulks and the mothership are going to be your priority targets. You got to go after them and go after them quick. I think it is possible. It's a little bit tricky, but it's possible to look at the initial trajectory of those subsonic cavitator mortars, and by the time they start arcing, you get a good idea of where they're going to land. It takes a little practice and a little experience, but if you watch them, you eventually figure it out. That you just see how they curve, and you can kind of guess where they're going to land. So that also lets you get in there quicker without getting surfaced. Okay, we ready for the next page?
go ahead.
I guess that's a yes. Hefe, you gonna keep talking? Okay. In the interest of
Yes,
avoiding dead
Sorry,
air.
I had myself on mute. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, I was talking, but like you asked me to. But if you remain undetected, the drones will simply circle in place, so you can pick them off from afar. Bullet point 2, be sure to keep an eye on submerge time. Don't rush an attack if you're about to surface. Doing so means drawing, I don't know, aggression from the whole target. Not good.
It's a gamer word, aggro.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that part of it is, most of this is, somebody that's never, it's advice for somebody that's never driven subs in a raid before. But the last sentence, the second to last sentence, you don't want to get these things moving. Once they start to move and you have irregular times as far as these the subsonic caviters working, you're just it can be done. It just takes more time, and especially if you have something like the hunter killer mortars involved, you don't want to take more time. You want to be able to kill these things off as quickly as possible, and that doesn't mean trying to guess when they're going to blip on and blip off and trying to chase them down. That's a good tip out of those 2 bullets. But the rest of it's it's for people that haven't really done this before.
I mean, I think maybe the point about the drones is that they don't have amazing sonar, but they have decent sonar, and if you're sloppy, I think I probably get detected by drones at a range of 40 or 50. So if I'm focusing, if I'm targeting a scout or a Hulk, and I let those drones get too close, I will get detected. So
they don't have amazing sonar because you have provided yourself a good cloaking. Because try to not put the special and go to the BXP weekend, and you tell me if they can spot you from beyond or not.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it depends on your build. I used Mimicus. A lot of people don't like it because it's not as good cloak as Cat Drive. So maybe I'm a little worse off than some players, but the point is, they're not. You don't have to be right on top of them before they detect you. Okay, maybe it's 50, maybe it's 30, but if you get sloppy, the drones will find you.
Yeah, from the data mining, which I learned today might be a little bit more complicated with the drones. They're listed as having a sonar range of 150, while the other ones have a sonar range listed at 100. But I was on a little back and forth that it's potentially a little bit more complicated than what we're used to, as far as the simple calculation of sonar versus cloaking efficiency. Should we move on, or anything else on?
Nah, that's good.
Okay. I find, I've sort of brought it up before. You need to be historically, if you watch people, Price does a great job of on his Twitch channel showing people how to hit things with subs throughout time. And he's very and with the Hell Race and this type of raid, before let me step back. Before, you had to be very exacting. You had to be very, I want to be just outside of his range. I can take as much time as I want, as long as I don't surface in their range or in their sort of quote-unquote wake-up range. You don't want to wake them up and get them moving. But with this raid style and the Hellwraith, I find to be the more aggressive the better, because you're going to take damage. You're going to take unavoidable damage. And this unavoidable damage is going to create an overload. And that overload is going to basically cut your damage in half relative to you not having it on. I'm not saying it's going to cut your damage in half, because it may only move from 95 to 97.5, or it may go from 90 to 95.
No, it actually does cut your damage in half.
From 90 to 95 will be half the damage. from 90 to
But what I'm
97
saying is, yeah,
water.
that's what I said. Is you're cutting your damage in half. I'm just trying to explain it to people. I mean, maybe I confused you too, but yeah, it does cut your damage in half relative to not being in that state. But combine that with the fact that you need to kill those targets as fast as well. We got a little sideways on that one, but basically the idea would be if you go in and kill one of these targets, that's going to have your depth explosion that triggers your overload. Try and kill as many as possible because you're going to be taking half the damage again for each one. And then also, we don't know what the new Hunter Killer mortar is going to be like, but when you surface, it would be great to have that on as well because you're also going to be taking half the damage at that point as well. So it's a whole different idea on how to drive subs. You're just trying to keep these things in the overload state whenever you kill anything or whenever you surface. If that made any sense, or was I rambling?
No. The point is, yeah, when you're in overload, go kill stuff. That's the nutshell, right?
Yeah, and basically, once you get a rhythm to it, the idea of boom, 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 keep on killing stuff, keep yourself in the overload state. That way, you know, that way you're just improving your efficiencies as far as your repair time.
Yep. Okay. And then this last bit, what is that?
Oh, health on Reavers is greater than 1 second.
Sure. So,
Somebody's coming in the room and talking. Health on the Reavers is greater than previous iterations, VXP targets, previews, etc. The damage from the death weapon has been reduced to balance this. All I had to say is people love new stuff at raid time.
yeah.
That's their favorite thing.
So yeah, I think I've been hitting a lot of stuff. I've been hitting a lot of 70s because I feel like getting my Tiger Sharks retroed, and yeah, you get in a rhythm, right? Two volleys and one of those scouts goes down, and I guess this raid will probably disrupt that rhythm, right? We're going to find more health on the Reavers. Means they're going to take longer to kill, which means they're going to be more likely to blink their subcav on when you're trying to kill them. So maybe you're just going to have to be more careful.
Yeah, how much damage per salvo does your Hell Wraith do? Off the top of your head?
No, it's 9 Charons, 9 Fire Twisters and 2 Charons, and they have, I don't know, Strike Warheads, I think.
Yeah, Strike Warheads was the point I was trying to get at. Because I've compared my Strike Warhead Hellrays to my Tiger Sharks, which have SES4, and those have Sharons, and mine has 11 Fire Twisters. Each one of my Hellrays does 4 times the damage of my Tiger Sharks.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, yeah. I think maybe the other thing you got to be careful of, if you're not using Hellrace, I know we've kind of been talking a lot about Hellrace. If you're not, and then you're probably going to be hitting the lower targets. The thing I noticed when I was using my non-Hellrace in the campaign, just for fun to see how they would work, when the death weapon damage is low, and you're using some of these alternate subs, these lower end subs that don't do as much damage, it might actually make sense to stack your subs up and do as much damage as possible to kill these guys quicker. Because especially when I was trying my Spectres, but also even with my Tiger Sharks, they just took so long to kill these targets that they were going to blink their cavitator on no matter what before I could kill them. So you just want to get all the damage out there you can if you're using these weaker subs.
Well, it's especially if you're going to be going after the A sets. If you're going to go after the B sets, I'm sorry, tier 4 versus tier 5, if you're going to be going after
call them
those,
ABC?
sure, it's fine with me. I just don't know if it's confusing the rest of the people. But if
Comment
you're
in
going
chat on that one.
to, yes, it's. What is the tinfoil hat conspiracy on why they changed the name? That's what I want to figure out. Why do they go from ABCS to 3, 4, 5, 6? And what happened to 1 and 2?
I don't know, but people love new stuff at raid time, so that must be it.
Yeah, that was my only point. Because some of these bullet points I just had to come up with a response to, and it's like.
Well, but so what I'm saying is, even if you're hitting the B's and the C's,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever they're called,
3s and the 4s, something like that. Yeah.
I still think you're probably better off stacking up than risking errors, because their death weapons just aren't as much damage, and so your risk of having them surface you is a lot greater than the extra little bit of damage you're going to take from the death weapon. On those low end targets.
But I mean, there's the counter. There's the counter to it, which I was trying to bring up, but I got distracted. Is the fact that there's no time clock on the B's and C's. The hunter killer mortars aren't out there, so you can go in, decide when you're gonna surface, and get your ass out of there, as opposed to taking the damage from surfacing. But if you're in the A set and the S set, you're going to take damage if you don't decide to get out of there, if you don't kill your target. Just delaying it, surfacing again, and being more meticulous with the way you hit it is going to cause you additional damage. At least the way I see it from what we've seen so far.
All right. Fair enough. I guess we'll just think about it. Sometimes you just got to try stuff for yourself on the raid. What works best with your fleet, and you got to just. That's my tip for these raids. You got to be willing to just screw around for the first day. Don't worry about finishing it in a day. Screw around a little bit, see what works best for you and the fleet, and what strategy is optimized for your fleet. Because there's so many different twists that people put in their ships now that it's tough for a one-size-fits-all strategy.
Very true.
All right. So here's the prize list. It's the ladder. You're going to have to work your way up, so I understand.
That's what it looks like.
Yep. Well, I saw somebody complaining in comms, and I didn't see this, but maybe it was buried in the forum somewhere, that he was saying, oh, he's going to have to even get the heavy cruiser before he can get any of these new stuff.
It depends. If you have the Tiger Shark, you can go straight for the next one. And I think it's not that way. I think it was just the HW and S that you got to get one after another. And in this raid special, since we all that have a hell raid with the special on the weapon, can go straight to get anything here. Probably even the sharp prices is already open for you.
Okay, well that would be a good way to do it.
I believe everything I read in comms.
Yeah, fair enough. All right.
No, but they're sort of showing us here that it's locked at the W range. And why did they go 1, 2, 3, HWS7? I mean, it's more.
It's the way it has been done later
I know,
on. So
it doesn't make it right, though. I mean,
it's so dumb.
This for the whole W's for weapon, S's for specials. I mean, they could have just continued with numbers, but there's a reasoning behind their HWS.
Well, the thing is that before, I think the whole was the last they were taking, but there was people, especially in the last raid, and when mostly didn't want the Switchblade, that were complaining having to get the Switchblade when they wanted to keep plates on the Apollos. So Kickside changed it, and well, somebody saw a conspiracy because it happened when the Vanquisher came out. So they said, "Oh, so now I didn't want the Vanquisher, I just wanted the Cyclone." I think was that time,
Yeah.
and now they make me get the Vanquisher if I want to get the weapons. It's never going to rain and make everybody happy. So
Well, the thing that would make everybody happy is unlocking all this stuff, and you can just pick what you want to spend your points on. But so much for that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I guess the thing I wanted to point out on this slide is I put green boxes. If you don't have any subs, the Tiger Shark and the Sharons and Stealth Attack 4, I mean, this is good stuff, and it's not that expensive. And
no, get in mind that last rate I think was 7 million for the sub, and likely 5 million for the Sharon. So now it's a bargain what you have here.
Right. I mean, the build time on the Tiger is still a little long compared to, just a little bit longer for the Hellraiser.
I played it today in case we have to answer that, and I think that it was between 10 and 11 days each.
Yeah. I mean, you can outfit them quicker, but it's still a 5-day haul. So, yeah, it's. I guess the point is, if you've got no subs, you really got to get those Tigers and those Sharons, and just do something to get to. What is that? That's 3 million points. So, you got to get there.
Yeah, especially once we start looking at the sort of flattened point structure. It shouldn't be that difficult.
Yeah.
And one point, if you have just returned to the game, I think that the last set that Kickside was giving to the possible returners to the game was a set with Tiger Sharks. So if you have the Tiger Shark, don't doubt it. Get that heavy cruiser. It's going to help a lot in Forsaken missions, because it's after the Punishers that we are using, I think it's the second best tank that you can use.
I was going to mention that. I didn't see much use for the heavy cruiser, but maybe that is something for it. Is if you don't have Punishers, maybe that is a decent alternate. You get, I think, 300 deflection for both assault and siege.
Yes. And 50% to nearly all bad corrosive, I think it has.
Yeah, it's got good resistances. I don't know if I'd really overemphasize the scatter guns. Maybe just go for speed and spotting. Got some mortars.
Well, I have seen many with heavy cruisers and scatter guns. I don't know if now it's working, but it was working pretty well, even for mine still up to 70 to get the shards and the fragments. And if they want to do something and they want, for example, the Centurion, it's going to do good work, because you could nearly out to 70s with those heavy cruisers.
Okay. So mines then. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, if you are returning, you have a lot, for example, of those turrets to change and re-equip with new turrets and components. So it's going to help you a lot to get shards and also get base parts.
Okay. All right. I think our next slides will talk about the new prizes, so we won't go into the top half of this.
And also says 9 tiers, you can do armadas with them. So yeah, it's a good choice if you already have the sub.
Okay. All right. Oh, these are the rest of the prizes. You got the locked store, so you've got to collect, I guess, the new hull weapon and special, and then you can get this stuff. I highlighted the Gamma Behemoth shards, so you need 10 shards for that blueprint, so you can get halfway there. You got to hit dubs to get drops of those. And then tokens, of course, build tokens. So
how far have they reduced the shipbuild tokens?
So it's a total of 5 days, 10 hours, which they've done that on other raids. It's
I think it's the same like last of the raids that was on the Holo store.
Yeah, Yeah, they've done this amount before. I mean, I think one raid it was up over 10 days, and then most often it's been like a week. But yeah, this is on the low end of what we've seen before.
So the Gamma Behemoth is going to cost as much as the Visago Punisher?
Well, when you put it that way,
The game of Behemoth has more uses, in my opinion.
Oh no!
I'd rather
I'm
spend
saying
50 mil on it than.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying anything bad about the Gamma, but yeah, I agree with you. I would rather have the Gamma Behemoth than the Visago's Punisher. Just throwing it out there as they both cost you 50 million, right?
yeah, fair enough. I don't think you've had the chance to buy Gamma shards before, though. You gotta get them from Dubs, and I don't know. I actually was able to get enough shards from Dubs. I've got a Punisher fleet. I can do 3 without repairing 3 corners. I know a lot of people can do 4, and I earned my way to a Gamma. I haven't built it yet, but they're not. It's not as hard to get as like 250 for a Ghost.
True.
But you gotta be able to do Dubs. All right. Anything else about these? Any other? I don't know. You guys like interception and the railgun?
Why is the interception system in there?
Good question. Does it give you the speed and the supercharge and the missile damage?
So it's there for the retribution?
I wouldn't do it on a retribution.
Wait, isn't the one with the
fusion charger? Are you asking? Maybe for
it's
maybe for those that don't get
the.
And I think for corrosive, right?
Yeah. So I used them on my Tiger Shark. I
not
used
the-
interception system with Styx torpedoes, but I sure wouldn't use Styx torpedoes for these raids. They have a lot of corrosive resistance.
No, I'm just trying to figure out what this come out recently or what's coming out soon that they would release that. I can understand the railgun as far as potentially for defensive uses in your base.
Yeah, goes nice on the Gamma.
Yeah. Laredo said it was for the Gamma Behemoth, for the defensive.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's carry on. All right, points, tiers 3, 4, 5, and 6, which are just renamed from C, B, A, and S because we like new things. I think the biggest thing is the S, the tier 6, doesn't seem to be worth as much as one would expect from how hard we expect those to be.
Yeah, and I also think it was close to tripling the tier 3 points. They very much flattened this out.
Yeah.
Relative to what it was, because I think it was, I can't recall exactly, but it was like 80k total or something of that, 90k total. Actually maybe less. I'll have to review, but for the tier 3 they've definitely taken a lot of effort, at least from what I see, in trying to make sure that players that don't have a lot of sub technology can at least get the Tiger Sharks to potentially compete in the next raid to try to get the Hell Wraith. At least that's what I saw when I was putting the slide together.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, what is that, 10?
They have boosted a bit. It used to be 80 for the set C, now called tier 3. 607 it was for the set B, now called tier 4. The one that remains mostly the same is the set A, used to be 2,690,000. The one that was a bit notched down is maybe the tier 6. It used to be between the target itself and the bonus for completing close to 4 billions, and now it's 3.7 just.
Yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking that, if you need those 3 million points for those first 3 tier prizes, that's about 16, 17 C sets, tier 3, whatever. So it's not terrible. You have 4 days. That 4 sets a day, 5 sets a day.
Yeah, time to break out the predators.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
I think
Or
they
the
instant repair,
stalkers.
don't they? Yeah, the stalkers, but the stalkers don't instant repair, as far as I know.
That's a good point.
Hmm.
All right, let's carry on.
And you can fit. I think you can fit one Sharon on a predator, so it's potential.
Okay, good luck with that, guys. All right, let's talk about the Fury. This is the new Conqueror hull. It's a scattergun hull. Really good repair efficiency, which we've seen from all these Conqueror hulls. It has high deflections. Oh, here they are. High deflections, but it's weakest against ballistic and concussive. But it does have some deflection if you get the bloodthirst going. So, yeah, it's got pretty good defenses. Although it does have the defense handicap, so watch out for, you can't add any armor, any resistance with armor or specials or anything like that.
But you can add evade and deflection.
And you can add turret defense.
Yes.
So that's the other important thing.
And because it's just 50% negative evade, you can boost that evade a bit. It's not like the others that are 160, I think.
Right. That's right. You can get that into positive. And then the other thing about the Fury is you've got this overload effect. So it when it takes damage every 27,500, so you can get about 3 of these before the ship dies if you've got no armor. You get a speed boost for everything in your fleet. You get reload boosts for everything in your fleet, and you get this splash damage reduction. So that's pretty cool. And then you get this little stun. So,
yeah, they changed that as far as this used to be, the overload effect used to be, I think, a 100 range aura in the preview. So this has sort of been changed since the preview.
okay.
I mean, because I think when we talked about it, only part of this was the combat speed was in the overload effect. The rest of it was a 100 range aura. So I guess they decided it was a little bit too powerful that way.
All right. And then the whole build time, a little over 2 days. I had 2 days, 2 hours, 48 minutes in my shipyard. I'm at R&D 30. So that's the bare minimum. Hefe, I guess you don't have R&D 30 yet. So
I don't have 30. I think I am close to 20. And I think it was 2 hours more, so it's not much difference.
yeah, right here, like it shows in the screenshot, 2 day, 4 hours, probably what you're looking at if you don't have R&D 30. All right.
But did you try a full build? Because
yes, I will get to that. That's 2
Okay.
slides from now. I will show a Fury build.
Fury or Furry? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Furry? That's a different show where they talk about furries.
Okay.
Is that what you were getting at?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And
Go ahead.
let's not talk about furries ever again. Okay, new scattergun. Better than older scatterguns, so you've got better range. I didn't do a side-by-side compare, but it's got better damage. It's got this death weapon, which I didn't think was that great. I mean, it's like one shot,
But if it stacks with the other ones you can add, maybe at the end it's great, right? Like the Infernal.
The thing we did a previous one on the preview, and if you include the spread and the splash as part of the DPS calculation, this does about twice what is it of the D81M,
Okay.
which is the most comparable. So it is a significant, boost in damage.
Right.
If you use the calculation with spread and splash.
Okay. Good to know. But I mean, I think the point is this is the scatter gun you're going to want to put on your Fury. I mean, it's just kind of a no-brainer. A little under 10-hour build time again with your full R&D, so you'll probably be a little over 10 hours if you don't have that. But so it's not a super quick build, but it's not awful. And then we have a new special, really targeted at scatter guns. So hydroxide injector gives you an extra pellet in your multi-shot and extra damage. So I did a little bit comparison with the barrel system. They give you the same weight. Barrel system gives you more shots, and a lot more shots if you've got the heavy, but doesn't give you the corrosive damage. So when I did the math on what gives you better DPS increase, for all the, say, normal size weapons where you're comparing the +1 versus the +2 multi-shot, hydroxide's your better choice. But if you've got like a heavy cruiser, maybe it's probably the only place you'd really use a heavy scattergun. The barrel system is still a little bit better at buffing the heavy weapons because these extra pellets do the same damage as your original group of pellets, so that actually increases your DPS just from extra pellets.
I do have a question for chat. What does the picture on the right, what does this machine make? It appears to make some sort of hallucinogenic candy from the way I look at it, but anybody in chat can chime in. Sort of looks like some sort of Oompa Loompa, whatever machine. I like the look of it, but it does look like it's doing something nefarious.
I'm going to show my age here, but it looks like the Orgasmatron from Barbarella.
But you just watched that last week, right?
I did not just watch that last week, but okay. Actually, I was still pretty... I don't know if I was alive when that movie came out. Was that from the 60s?
I think it was. Yeah.
But
We're the same age, though.
Yeah. Okay. Orgasmatron, hallucinogenic candy, or hydroxide injector. Whatever. Maybe we'll find a picture before the end of the show for those of us. For those of you who've not seen the Orgasmatron. All right. So I decided to throw up a Fury build. I didn't think about this build too hard, but I'll just put it up here. I'll talk about it. I'll say why I chose what I did. I think, again, Tito, you were asking about this. This is just over 9 days to build. Again, that's the R&D 30 and all that. So
yeah, Mike was close to 10, but I used higher evade armors than that. But yeah, more or less the same.
Yeah. So I'll just run through this real quick, what I did. So I did 6 of the new scatter guns. I threw 1 cyclone launcher on there for spotting. I figured the Cyclone would be better than the Antipode because it just does more damage. Agility System 4 for some evade and for stun resist. Between the evade from the agility and the evade from the armor, I'm at 52%. Tito, I guess with the D5E, you could get even higher, but I went for the quick build and repairs with T2.
Yeah, besides I went all scatterguns because I was talking with George the other day, and he told me that he was getting better results going all bleeds rather than using that as a spotter for others.
Okay.
But your build could work as well.
Yep. So the other thing is, actually, the first time I ran through this build, I used hydro resistors just because I was thinking, why not? But the reason why not is because the concussive resistance isn't going to help you anyway, so speed 5 is what I ended up with. Did combustion
And the
system.
splash 70 of that one, it's amazing.
Yeah, combustion for the splash bonus. Siege battery mostly for the turret defense, but the wall.
Although at some points I was wondering, there is rumors about the wall 9 that could come, and when you go into Haggis and you look at the damage you are doing with this setup, you are roughly reaching with this damage the wall armor point. So if they go with a higher one, maybe we will have to need something to do more building damage.
Oh, you think like siege targeting?
Yeah, that was the thing I was looking at it. In case that rumor about Walls 9 it comes to be something that comes close.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I was going to mention is that, a lot of people talk about blitz fleets and how blitz fleets go obsolete really quick. And I think the other thing is the best defense against a blitz fleet is a ship that's the same kind as the blitz fleet in guard.
Yeah,
and that's why.
Did you see any of the previews?
No.
Because this host has a huge resilience. I saw in the preview there was Laredo with another girl. I don't know who was the other one, but they put 2 fleets of each, of 5 of these fighting each other, and I think it took like 3 minutes for the first of them to die. So
Yeah.
I don't know if a single one is going to stop it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got all this deflection, right? I think this might be really good in defense, right? Because, explosive and radioactive are probably 2 of the biggest damage types people are using, right, on their retributions and vendettas.
Yeah, so you have to get back into it with revenges. Nowadays, most baseless are set up to stop them, so
yeah,
it will give them a hard time.
Yeah, these will be good in guard. But that is why I put another reason why I put the agility in there is because you get a little bit of stun resist. So if you've got one of these on guard and it sets its overload and stuns you, at least you'll recover.
Especially for that special. I don't know if it's in the hull on the weapon. I know that somewhere is some sort of a stunning effect that it has. I don't know if they toned it down or not, but in the preview there was a lot of those.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the build. Again, kind of a no-brainer build, but also I think interesting.
Yeah, it'll be interesting how it interacts with the other ships.
Yeah. All right, let's talk cruise. Didn't you show this last time?
Yeah, I tried to move it. I was surprised it still showed up.
Oh, okay. So, splash, speed, critical. And then I think the other thing, Tito, you talked about this last time, but I'll just say it again real quick. 30% all
but
damage.
as I said, get in mind that I don't know if it's a bug or it's working as intended, or it's something in our end, as they used to say in the custom service. But it looks likely the splash damage was mitigated by this one, because using it, I got likely 50% of the time I was getting before. Those 32, 34 that normally people talk about when you were hitting all these targets, I got it to 17.
Yeah.
And I was using this, so maybe Kixeye has fixed it, and if you use now, you're just wasting it. So I don't know.
Okay. But maybe all damage includes plasma. So, all right, let's keep rolling. This week's Kixeye screw up. Well, we've got 2. We've got, again, fleets damaged in dock again. Yeah, mine.
And again. Yeah, it's been going on forever.
Yeah, if you haven't filed tickets yet, file tickets on them.
If you can.
If you can. All right, and then this other one, working as intended, when they get the cavitator mortar drop just right and completely surround themselves. It's kind of lame.
Yeah, I wasn't. I eventually finished it off fairly easily, but I didn't put the whole response in. But I was like, there was no way I could go in there and sneak my Hellrace in to kill the drones, but there was no point in that. Right. But I couldn't reach anything else with my Hellrace. So I had a timeout, no retreat button.
Yep.
So I think they either need to fix that or get a retreat button.
Okay. Kixeye's breakthrough. and brought to you by Allison Mosshart, who, like Miss Hillary Clinton, has also recently recovered from pneumonia. I'll be seeing her Sunday night. I'm really excited. Anyway,
She a friend of yours? No, I'm just kidding.
huh?
Go ahead. Never
I
mind.
wish she was a friend of mine.
Well, I missed by about a. Never mind. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, so breakthrough this week. Reducing the hunter-killer mortar retargeting. I think that's a good one. We'll see whether that makes these targets a little more doable. I think the thing that people really disliked about the hunter killers is it was just damage. You had to take that damage, and there was no way to avoid that damage. There was no skill. It was just damage. And so hopefully reducing that retargeting range will let you be a little smarter. Only draw the fire from the ones that you're going after.
But we still have the death explosion unavoidable damage too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's sort of. I feel it's. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel it's sort of like a cheap, easy way out.
It is,
But
right? Right. Yeah. It's like you're going to do these targets and you're going to get damage. So,
And it's sort of defeatist. Like, we know we can't outsmart you guys, so we're just going to add in something that's automatically going to happen because we know you're going to figure it out.
that's right. It's our own fault because we're too good, we're too smart. It's our own fault.
Yes. Yes.
We'll take it as a compliment. Does that make you feel better?
That's sort of what I was saying. I mean, the fact that they were so lazy, we're just going to give them automatic damage because we know these guys are going to figure out a way to do it. They're going to put it on YouTube, and then we're going to get screwed. And so we might as well just, give them no other way to do it.
Right. Every ship you kill, you will get damage. You cannot resist this damage. Enjoy.
I consider it lazy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with that. And then sinking the flagships. I mean, that's something people ask for a long time. I don't know if fixing a screw up like that is really a breakthrough, but it is better than not fixing.
Well, it's better than me asking chat to provide a breakthrough for us like we've done for a couple weeks.
Fair enough.
Yeah, the real reason is that the chat told him he didn't agree, and we were here 2 hours later still discussing it. So
Yeah. All right. Sorry, I can just stare at Allison for a while, but
All right. Well, I'm gonna post the after show in chat here, unless anybody else has anything to say at this point.
No.
Let's see who wants to show up and talk to us.
All right. So, are we gonna close the show out with that?
Unless we got anything else, I mean, people that want to pop in immediately can, or whatever. But I guess I can take you off of presenting, right?
Yeah, you can. I guess.
All right.
All right. I'll even turn off my screen share. I can still look at Allison. Stop sharing. Okay. You know, she thought she could do karate and she injured her leg. She was drunk at the time. That's one of my favorite Allison stories.
Yes. I don't know.
It's actually really funny because, well, it's not all that funny because the other guy in her band, The Kills, injured his hand when it got slammed in a car door and he needed surgery, and like it was iffy whether he was going to be able to play guitar ever again. So that would have been a real tragedy. And then
who was what band was the guy? Was it Motley Crue? Who was the drummer that was sticking his hand out the window?
Oh, was that Def Leppard?
Oh, it was Def Leppard. Okay, yeah, that was Def Leppard. Yeah. I mean, you started that topic. I didn't,
I did.
musicians with damaged hands.
That's totally valid.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, you posted the after show link. Where is that? Just to remind the
Yeah, but
gang.
I think he didn't post the right one because people are saying that they cannot join.
Well, people have been having an issue. I don't know if I'm posting them wrong. It takes a couple of times, people. I don't know why, but George has been on before, but it takes him about 3 times to get it right. I'm not sure if it's a George issue or, the link issue. But I posted it here. If it says unauthorized, or what does it say, George, when you try to join? Whatever. But give it a couple tries, and it should eventually work. I don't think it's on our side. I think it's on a,
Blame Google.
yeah, because Google's one of those companies that knows what they're doing, but yeah, not authorized.
Okay, we got somebody. All right, so let's shut off the live and come join us in the after show, and otherwise have a great evening and a great raid.
Okay. Hi, everybody. Keep on trying the link if you want to.